Every day is different as a veterinarian. Some good, some calmer than others, some dramatic, and even sad at times. Every patient that goes home with their family or whose suffering I can help is another reminder of why I do what I do. I am DocBott. Hey, I'm DocBott, and today I'm visiting my friends, Dr. Carpenter and Dr. Crook, at Utah's Hogle Zoo. A lot of people don't know this, but there is a state-of-the-art veterinary hospital right here at Utah's Hogle Zoo.
Treatment area.
Yeah,
Nice.
This is our treatment room, and we've got out a few different examples of some of the equipment that we use. And most of this is used in an emergency situation, but certainly if we have an animal that needs to be anesthetized, we can't get to it or something, we might use these specifically this. But we like to have our equipment all ready and tuned up. We look at it on a regular basis just to make sure if there's anything going on that we can have it all ready and we know that it's going to function just right.
Nice. So tell me a little bit about this right here.
Well, so this is a dart gun system, and it's a beautifully simple system. The medication that we would use would go in here, and then we fit the needle on depending on the size of the animal, the thickness of the skin, and it is fired through the gun with just a CO2 charge to power the dart. And as soon as the dart goes into the animal, there's a little sleeve on there that moves down, and then the liquid is injected into the animal's muscle.
This one's got a big needle.
Yeah, so it's needless to say, sometimes we need in our big animals an awful lot of medicine. So this particular dart is a 10 mil dart. And I put a big needle on there just to show how thick skinned some of our animals are. And so in some cases, we definitely would use such a big needle.
Dr. Crook, I know here at the Hogle Zoo that the animals are really well trained. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
I think that's one of the things that the Hogle Zoo does best is our training program. So a lot of the animals are trained for husbandry and veterinary procedure. So they open their mouth and they say ah, they show us their paws, they present their belly or their hind end. So we can do a lot of things non-invasively. We get a pretty good medical exam and then even administer some injections, all voluntarily through positive reward training.
How neat. How neat. Dr. Carpenter and Dr. Crook are both board-certified zoo veterinarians. And so after veterinary school, they went back to specialize. And they're the full-time veterinarians here at Hogle Zoo. As a veterinarian in private practice down in Springville, Utah, I work on a variety of species, but they're all mammals. And here, they work on myriads of different animals, amphibians and reptiles and mammals large and small. So they've got really a neat variety of animals that they see. They're really mixed animal veterinarians. They see every walk of life. Really fascinating.
Yes, so Dr. Bott, we have about 300 species here. So that's just a variety of animals, and then we have multiple of some of those species. And Dr. Carpenter and I always like to say that we are the most generalized specialists that you'll probably ever meet. Because like you said, 1 minute it's a toad that might weigh 2 grams that'll fit in your hand up to a rhinoceros.
So the zookeepers brought us this bat that wasn't doing very well, and we have no idea how old he is. He's from our colony, small fruit-eating bats. We do wear gloves with these guys because they do bite. They're making a little noise. See how fast he's breathing. Most of these guys are probably at least 15 years old. Some of them are well over 20.
What's the lifespan of a bat?
Well, we're not sure for this group. They're in a captive situation where they get all the food they need, and we know these guys have lived pretty long. But typically 20 I would consider fairly old in this species. But to be honest, I wouldn't be 100% surprised if any of them made it up to 30. Let's see if we can weigh him without him jumping around too much. This is a very sensitive scale. I know you're biting it. Very sensitive scale that weighs up to only 200 grams. Looks like he's a little over 17 grams.
So, Dr.
Sorry. The face of these bats, people a lot of times are scared of bats, but the truth of the matter is they're beautiful. This is a leaf-nosed bat, and you can see the big leaf on the top of his nose. That's how they get their name.
A lot of people think bats are flying members of the bird family. Can you tell me a little bit about what a bat is?
They are truly a mammal, and even though they can fly, and their wingspan is like a bird in that the wing is an extension of the hand, and birds are the same way, but it is a mammal, so it's a warm-blooded animal. They do have milk or mammary glands, that's why they're a mammal, and they do give birth to live young. We do worry about rabies in bats in general. Even though I'm wearing gloves, that's more protecting me from being bitten than from getting rabies. This particular colony, it's a closed colony. It's been at the zoo for well over 20 years. They're fruit-eating bats, so they are not exposed to rabies nor known to have rabies. Rabies is luckily quite low in Utah. We don't see it very often. But anyone should be very cautious if they see a bat in their neighborhood. They shouldn't pick it up. They should leave it alone, make sure the pets don't get near it, make sure the babies don't get near it, and either call somebody or just make sure nobody touches it, because any scratches or bites could be an issue with rabies. You shouldn't really see bats out and about during the daytime. Certainly at night we'll see them around or we'll hear them flying. But it's certainly something a lot of people want to have bat houses, and as much as that's a great idea, you then really have to be careful about inviting bats into your area where they might bite or scratch you, and then if you can't get a hold of that bat, you pretty much have to undergo treatment for rabies because it's too risky to not undergo treatment.
Well, thanks for letting us look at this bat. Let's go see some other animals.
Yeah, that's something we ought to do. Let me put the bat back in the incubator and let it warm up, and then we'll be sure to give it some treatments and hopefully return it back to the colony.
Could be fun to monkey around.
Go ahead and jump the feet to the right, come to a full and complete stop.
From it. So that's an enrichment device for the giraffe. And so they'll play with them, and then this one just needs stuff hooked to it, but they can lower them down so the keepers can get to them.
Doesn't matter what the vet says.
Hi there, we're going down into not your toad room, of course. Josh's toad room, I believe, is how we would call it. So this is back at cats. You can
Oh yeah, you sure can.
I see different colors. How come some are lighter than others and darker?
It could be chalked up to anything. It could be chalked up to their diets were, like how well they ate as they were growing up. Lighting can sometimes affect it. Just the nutrition in their diet, the lighting, stress. They can actually change color a little bit, not like a chameleon, but if they're cooler, more stressed out, they can be a little darker. When they're warmer and not so stressed out, they're lighter colored. And sometimes it just depends on the genetics of the toad. That one just turned out to be like that. They all are pretty distinct on the placing of what people would refer to as their warts. And then they also have some black speckles on their ventral sides, underneath on their bellies and their chins, that is also unique to them individually. So you'll never find one that are exactly the same.
Tell us a little bit about these.
Well, these are our ambassador toads that we have. They are boreal toads. They are from Utah. I forget which region they got them from, but they are high altitude toads, so like 7,000 feet-ish. We take these ones out to schools, on-grounds programs for school groups that come here, walk and talk, so people that are sitting out in the plaza with the toads, talking about them, trying to pass on the conservation message. One of the big things for conservation messages with toads is that they are, amphibians are an indicator species. And by that I mean they will give a good indication of how the environment is doing because they have that semi-permeable skin. They can take in toxins in the waters, things like that. And if we find toads that happen to be dead, we can do necropsies on them and find out what exactly is leaching into the.
So what can you tell me, Ben, about warts and toads?
Warts and toads, toads don't get warts. They do have bumps on their skin, unlike frogs, which have a smooth skin. One of the big things with toads is they have a really big wart, which is their parotid gland, which you can see right here along the sides of their head. That's where they will secrete toxins from, because all frogs and toads are toxic.
Yes, and so in the case of dogs, a lot of times dogs will like to eat a toad, and typically the toxins will make them throw the toad back up. So that's a defense mechanism for the toad, and bad taste for the dog.
This isn't one of our females. First of all, we went through and we sectioned all the toads earlier, but they each have their spots on the back are individualistic to them. And the males generally are smaller. And they also have on their feet, see their thumbs have like little hooks on them. So when they go into implexus, which is when the males mount the females, they can hook on and hold on to the females better.